Heyo, this is Bob here, and what I got today is uh, A.F.K. Where are you going? You son of a bitch. You better go back. Go back and plant. You're ruining everything. Well, there he goes. So this is an A.F.K farm for 1.8, and for the snapshots, here I am on 14 week 21B. The later snapshots, they seemed a bit buggy to me, so I'm going to stick with this one for now, even though the new ones have the underwater temples and the guardians. So here we go. What I did, let me show you this. This is the first design that I had, and it's pretty simple. I like this design over the other ones because it uses the bone meal. Um, but you have your villager in there. As you can see, we have the tilled soil and the hoppers in the back filled with the bone meal, and that's all hooked up to the this clock. And so he'll go and start planting using the AI. He's always trying to go and plant here. That's why I have them here, so it can drive him along the length of the planting field. Right here, all I have is a little tripwire, which while he's going through the spider, the cobweb, it slows him down to tick enough times to get the items to grow good enough, all the way. And then after that, he falls down and hits this first tripwire, which sets off this here. Water streams down, pushing everything down. And then as he flows down the path, he hits another tripwire, which turns that off. He comes back up. I put this cobweb here because he kept on coming up real quick, coming off, and then untilling the soil, which ain't too big of a deal, but it seems like this works a little better. After he comes up and falls down, he does sometimes stand here for a minute or two. I know he has to kind of like reset himself, I believe. There are some, you know, vegetables that are left over. Here he goes. But it's not too big of a deal. You could actually go and stick another cobweb down here, and that'll give enough time for the water to push everything down, down below. He usually doesn't miss a spot. Surprisingly enough, he's pretty good with that, but it's not 100% effective. There he goes. He falls down, hits the tripwire. Here goes my potatoes. Potatoes. Comes back on up. Doo -doo -doo. Meh. And then he just keeps doing it. The one thing I did notice is that when I did stick the cobweb down here, and of course all the potatoes kept on getting pushed, after, they were planted and then harvested, they would, go down into there. It seems like he ran out of inventory. So I'm unsure. I'm sure other people out there would know a lot better than I would. But that's why I almost think it might be better to leave the cobweb out. Because when you leave that out, it does leave a couple there that he'll pick up to help refill his inventory. I have no clue if this is something that's really happening or if it is just something that happened to me. But so that's what happens. It's just a very simple cycle process where he just cycles along and he just keeps doing his thing. The thing is, I wanted to make something that I could grow other things other than just like, potatoes. So all I did was just enlarge it slightly. I still have the very same basic design. I actually used the design over there and then just added some more crap to it. There you go. There's the wheat. He's grown wheat. But what I did built basically a little holding trench. And as you can see, the pistons. So I can swap out the villagers when I need them. One villager does the carrots, and one does the potatoes, and one does the wheat. There he goes. See, he's in the cobweb. All the items are down below. Sometimes an item might get stuck up there because of the redstone. Um, you could probably lag. You could probably go about wiring, well, honestly, this whole thing differently. It's kind of just a proof of concept. I'm not the best redstoner, but let's see. Yeah, you could probably do something else with powering these, so then you could just have a solid block on top instead of the redstone, and then you won't have anything get stuck up there, but it happens very infrequently, so there you go. He's back there again. Now, if I want to switch them out and get another villager, if I don't want to have wheat anymore, um, I click that to cycle to bottom. Now, all that does is it turns off this down here, this dispenser that had the water that would flow to push him along, and it opens up a door down below. Now I'll go down here, might look a little better. So then, instead of going and cycling through, he falls down to another level where he gets stuck there. All this is here and here and here. They're just a couple monostable circuits, just so I can have a quick pulse to turn this water on and off. And then I just have it running up to a button. So there he goes. See, now he fell through the bottom. And there he is. And then there's the other guy and my third guy. So now, alternate farmer. There we go. All this is right down here. This big ugly contraption is just a pulse lengthener. A little big. I know there's a lot more compact ones, but I think I could maybe fine tune this one a little better because when I go onto my my adventure world, I get bits of lag. So I don't. These things have to be timed specifically so I don't smash them or if it lets them through too long or too short. And so this is the other uh, farmer villager coming up, testificate, and what he'll do since he's not the one to farm, to plant the wheat, he comes down and there's no land, so he actually would just run. I guess it seems like he wants to come down here to plant, which works great. And he falls down and then trips the wire, which releases the water to push all this away. And then when he comes back up, he'll start planting his own crop. I think he might be carrots. There he goes. You can see how he's looking down. You can tell that he wants to go and try to plant on these two here, but he just can't. There he goes. Should be hitting the tripwire. Oops. Shit. That's alright. I forgot to put this back on the plant. So he just ended up falling back down to the bottom again. There we go. It's always something. There he goes. Come on. Make me look bad. Now I've seen a lot more nighttime coming. I've seen a lot more definitely a lot more compact designs with A.F.K farms. There's one I've seen, it's a micro farm. Um, I want to say maybe it's Exuma Void might have made it. There's a few other people. It's kind of basically the same kind of deal. Um, Sometimes it's a visual glitch, but anyways, yeah, he has a micro. I've seen people take the micro farm and basically just stick a villager in the middle, and that works pretty quick. But then again, you can't change out your crop unless you change out your villager. He's taking his good old time here. Let's go. Let's go, buddy. And carrots. There he goes. Even though they do tend to stand around a bit, it still seems to be a lot faster than the other farms just because it uses the bone meal. So you're not waiting around for things to grow, and you're not really waiting around for a timer. He plants, falls, gets produced, and gets harvested pretty damn quick. I haven't done any tests to see what kind of timing it does, but there he goes. Yeah, there he goes. He hits it, turns it off. Now, sometimes they'll actually start planting even before they fall. You like, he'll start looking down and. Mm, yeah, so improvements. Definitely, the redstone could be a lot better. I'm sure there's a better way of having these guys, in some type of, holding order to let them go. But it works pretty good. What you doing? You gonna plant? Come on, plant me something. He's thinking about it. No? Huh? There he goes. Usually he'll start up here and work his way down. Not always. Yep, carrots. So I don't think it might still be necessary, but I have this trapdoor here. I'm pretty sure that's probably still needed. Trick them to think that there's a full block there, and so you can make it over to farm these two pieces. Are these necessary? Shit, I'm unsure about that one too, but it seems to be working, so it might just need to be, fiddled with this a bit. So then, okay, that's done. If I want to have, get my other crop going, then wait for them to come up and around. I'll cycle to the bottom. It turns off once again. That hopper opens up a trap door below so you can fall into this stream. And I'll probably cut right here until the other one starts coming up around. Sometimes they like to do a little jiggle up here. He does come down though. But yeah, for this thing to work efficiently, you definitely need bone meal. A lot of bone meal. They usually take like 3 or 4 bone meal to grow them the the full stage. The one thing I do like is that even though he's falling down and hitting this, right now, because they're all grown, it's not dispensing any bone meal, even though it's clicking, which I always liked. You'd be losing so much freaking bone meal if it wasn't. So there he goes, hits tripwire. All my carrots go into 2 hoppers. That's all it is. Here we go. And yeah, this does a pretty good job here. You might definitely want to maybe hook up some type of item sorter. But I like being able to have everything in just one farm right here like this. I definitely want to put this in my survival. I'll probably stick it next to one of my skeleton spawners, because then I can, get mass bone meal. So here's the last guy coming up, and he should have wheat. Of course, you need to, before this is all set up, you got to go through the hassle if you were in survival to collect all these guys and feed them all exactly what you want them to plant and get them into the system, which wouldn't be too hard. I mean, you can you can actually just start, insert them, right up into here. You might have to run some type of like rail track or something and just plop them right down there. So there's a little initial setup, but then after it's going, I think it's pretty decent. So here we go. Start planning. Last ones, yep. Keep them planning. I have noticed that because when they do switch around, sometimes there are different items than what they are supposed to carry. And as you can see, he actually planted that one. That's weird. Hmm. Because usually, even though they were picking up different items, they usually would not plant them. And I've been watching them for some time. It's pretty boring just standing here, watching them, trying to observe their behavior. As I said, I'm no genius at Minecraft or, you know, go looking into the code or anything like that. But just from, what I see and from what I know about their, how their AI works, I'm not too sure though on about their how their inventory works too well. I'm gonna have to do a little more research on that because I really don't want them to start picking up, another planter's items and then start planting them with it, because then I'll end up with like all potatoes or some shit. So let's see what he does here one more time. Yeah, the tripwires below are, I mean, it's very simple. Here's the hopper with the water in it, and it just runs the course. So right, let's see, get down below. Here's one tripwire. So he falls down, hits that one, goes through, and just hits that one, and they just all run right across this redstone. And here's where you can put your bone meal in. Whew, man, so much bone meal. That's the one big downfall. But if you got bone meal, I definitely, I bet you could probably even go about ways of doing this without using bone meal. See, now this is planting what he's supposed to plant, the wheat. Well, that's about it. Um, Here we go. Mumbo Jumbos, elevator. I love this elevator. I've been trying to make an elevator in my world for so long, and because my computer ain't the best thing, it doesn't, I always get stuck halfway up. I'd be surprised though, since I'm recording, if this is gonna work. But this is so reliable. I mean, and you can just keep on going up, as far as you want with it. Uh, it's not very resource intensive, I wouldn't say either, which is great. Yeah, Mumbo, what's up? That's boss. Yeah. Uh, that's why I have all this void fog, because I got my settings real low, just hoping that this, when I record, everything seems alright. So that's about it. My AFK farm, just leave this thing running and keep planting away. Do you have any ideas or thoughts? Leave something in the comments. Thanks a bunch. I'll talk to you later. Late.